Hello, I'm Ron Litchman for Hardfire. I'm joined this afternoon by Gary Popkin, candidate for the 52nd Assembly District for New York State, comprising Brooklyn Heights and Park Slope and the intermediate environs on the Libertarian line. Welcome, Gary.
Oh, thank you. Good to see you.
So tell me and tell our viewers your motivating issue in propelling your campaign.
Yes, I'm going to be running on one issue only, and that is to bring New York State's marijuana laws into line with those of Colorado and Washington, and take all the money that is saved by not enforcing marijuana laws and give it back to its rightful owners, the taxpayers. And I aim to give it back to the taxpayers not by reducing the income tax rates, because reducing income tax rates is always fraught with controversy, or tax cuts for the rich, blah, blah, blah. But instead by reducing the sales tax rate. Everybody pays sales tax, and everybody in each county pays the same rate of sales tax. And so I would like to reduce the sales tax rate by the amount that will make my proposal revenue neutral. Now, the state collects approximately, let's say, $70 billion in sales taxes and things like that. And the cost of marijuana enforcement in the most recent year is around 10% of that. And the way the costs of marijuana enforcement are determined, marijuana enforcement, the cost of marijuana enforcement consists of three things: police, the courts, and incarceration. And so the estimates of the cost of marijuana enforcement are found by taking the total budget for police departments and just seeing what fraction of their work is marijuana enforcement, and just using that fraction of their budget as a cost of marijuana enforcement. And similarly with the courts and incarceration. Just take the total budget for all the courts and look at what fraction of their work is spent on marijuana cases, and just assume that fraction of their budget is an expense of marijuana enforcement. So it comes to that the costs of marijuana enforcement are around 10% of what the state takes in sales taxes. And so if we ceased wasting that money on marijuana enforcement, we could start by reducing the rate of sales tax by 10% of its current value.
So it would go down about 80 basis points.
Let's say in New York City, right, that's right.
Almost 90 basis points.
In New York City, that's right. In New York City, the rate, all the sales taxes put together is now 8.75%. And so we reduce that by, let's say, by 10% of its value, and the sales tax would come out to be less than 8%. Now, that might not be revenue neutral, because reducing the sales tax rate will increase economic activity in New York State. It has to, because everything will be cheaper to buy everything now in New York State.
That's a little element of supply side economics.
Absolutely. And so economic activity will increase. Either New Yorkers will buy more stuff, or people will come from other states now that New York is more attractive. Now, I don't know whether the sales tax is regressive or progressive. I don't know whether the rich pay a higher fraction of their income in sales taxes than the poor.
The orthodoxy
or the poor do.
The orthodoxy is the poor spend a larger percentage of their income, So
They
so-
spend a larger percentage of their income, and so they
they're
would
taxed on a larger percentage of their
they're
income
taxed
at
on
a
a
fixed
larger,
rate.
at a fixed rate. That's right. Now, of course, the rich buy more stuff, so they pay more
In
in dollars. They pay more in dollars in sales tax. But what you're saying is that since the poor spend a greater proportion of their income on sales taxable items, they would be paying a higher fraction of their income on
That's
sales
the-
tax.
that's
So the
the
sales tax,
orthodox
that's right. So
justification of
right,
sales.
right, right.
Because
So-
even if we had a flat income tax, the wealthier would pay more dollars at a flat rate, because 20% of $1 million is more than 20% of 100,000. But we don't consider that progressive enough.
Right. Oh,
I
right,
don't know,
right, right.
We, you and me, as libertarians, we
the-
might not think we think it may be too
too
progressive.
progressive. The so the rich buy more stuff, but they spend on sales taxable items a smaller fraction of their income.
income,
They
right.
spend more of their income on works of art and oil wells.
Well, works of art are taxable,
Oh,
actually.
works of art are
Oh,
sales
yes,
taxable.
they sales tax on
Oh,
it.
and
Was
yachts.
it some
Oh,
years
well,
ago, there was this scam that caught some pretty prominent people on defrauding the state for sales tax on works of art. I don't remember the details. It had to do with gallery shipping empty boxes. But in the remaining time, we don't have too much time. I want to help you get a little bit ahead of the curve, because this is a fairly radical proposal that you're running for, and there's going to be some pushback. So what do you anticipate are going to be the opposition's pushback against legalizing marijuana? What's your answer to it?
Well, there will be the traditional objection to marijuana. Marijuana is a gateway drug, is the old argument. And while it's true that almost all heroin users once used marijuana, almost all heroin users probably drank milk as children too. So that is no argument. That is just nonsense. What else you got? Oh, no, I'm supposed to come up with the pushback. Well, that's all
you
there
could
is.
be your own devil's advocate.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
We have an opioid crisis. I suppose your answer would be the same, but I suspect that most county sheriffs and district attorneys are going to gasp out of the notion of legalizing drugs. Do you of any drugs?
I see. Well,
Do you
we
need to
have,
key this, say, to a treatment program?
no, we have the evidence from Colorado and Washington, and maybe Hawaii, California. The arguments are just rooted in emotion. We've got the facts from the other states.
Thank you, Gary. We're looking forward to you being on the ballot. You need to get some petitions signed, parenthetically, don't you?
Yes, that's correct. I need some number of signatures, which I aim to collect during the summer, and I have to comply with the state's campaign finance laws, and hilariously, I have to comply with the state's ethics laws. Can you believe it? The state assembly has ethics laws.
Well, they don't have to comply.
It makes us both laugh.
So Gary will be at your local subway stop collecting petitions during the summer. Come up and meet and greet and sign Gary's petition to get on the Libertarian line for the State Assembly in Assembly District 52. Gary
Well,
Popkin,
thank
thanks
you
for
very
coming.
much. Thank you. Good seeing you.